Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I have two stories and they're concerning the latest Jordans, the Jordan 11s, the Legend Blues. They came out a few days ago and a lot of folks have been going crazy over them. There's been a lot of arrests, people fighting. As you guys know, it seems like every Christmas it's gotten worse and worse with a lot of people running down to get these shoes. I think 2011 was the worst. People was just showing out all over the news, licking on their shoes, lines, fights, shootings. It was such a mess. After the big Air Jordan debacle of 2011, a lot of stores decided to do a ticketing system like Finish Line, Foot Locker. They do it up here at the Mall of America. People line up. The Mall of America was packed with folks lining up to put their name in this drawing to be able to purchase a pair of these shoes. So it's really real out there. So it's just been a lot of craziness that's been going on. There's a woman who had won her ticket fair and square. She went to buy her boyfriend the Jordans and she was mugged. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys her news story right now, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
Walking out of the mall with your expensive collector's edition shoes. Catherine does not want to show her face or use her real name after the mugging in the parking lot on Saturday. She says she went into the mall and picked up the Air Jordans at Foot Locker, then went outside. She says she saw two men following her. One then came up to her and started asking her questions about the shoes. Then she says things got ugly.
He put his arm around me and he said, okay, listen, can you feel the gun next to you? And it was like right here. And he's like, you give me the shoes right now. And I said no.
So these are the shoes in question, the Air Jordan 11 Legend Blue, going for $200 in stores and even more online. Catherine says they're so in demand, she had to win a raffle at Foot Locker to earn the right to buy the shoes for $200. She says the man grabbed her neck, put her in a chokehold, and dragged her down between two cars, then grabbed the shoes and ran off.
And it's just really heartbreaking to know that people want to do this to other people over a pair of shoes that are material. It's a material, it's not life. I don't know why it would be so worth it.
Catherine was getting the shoes for her boyfriend for his birthday on Sunday. She says she went back into Foot Locker and was able to buy another pair at a discount, just $140. So he did get his present after all, even after the mugging. Now, if you're worried about your safety at the mall, always walk to your car with someone else. If you're shopping by yourself, go with other shoppers, or you can ask mall security to escort you to your car. Many malls have that service. Another good idea, stay away from bathrooms that are not in a main area close to closing time.
It really is amazing. We've heard about this throughout the country over the years of people doing this over a pair of shoes.
A pair of shoes. Now, these are possibly the most popular shoes in the country right now. Very limited edition. As you heard, you have to get into a raffle, win the raffle just to be able to buy the shoes. A lot of people just buy them to turn around and sell them online for twice as much, for say $400.
All right, Carrie, thank you.
So here's a look at the suspects' descriptions. Both men are black, in the late teens to early 20s. One of the men is described as very tall, possibly 6'4". The other is about 6 feet tall and was wearing a camo green puffy vest and black beanie. If you have any information, call Tigard Police.
All right, so you guys just checked out Catherine's store, and that happened in Oregon. I mean, it's just really disgusting that people feel like they can just take whatever is yours. People feel like they can just rob you, you know, and I just feel really bad for her. And it makes no sense how folks are just willing to hurt folks behind a pair of damn shoes. But what's even crazy, if you think that that story is bad, what's even worse is that there's a 16-year-old boy. He's from outrageous ass Ohio, and he basically decided to go up to the wrong person and rob them. He did the same thing that these people did to Catherine, except he had a gun. And when he went to the guy to go rob him of his Jordans that he just got fair and square at the mall, the guy pulled out his conceal and carry pistol, and he basically shot the teen to death. This whole situation is a mess. I want you guys to go ahead and check out this story that's coming from Ohio, and I will come back with the rest of my commentary.
The Dayton Mall is once again packed with people doing their holiday shopping, but it was Saturday when the Miami Township Police Department said the peace was broken when 16-year-old Jawad Jabbar came up to the mall for the shoes.
The juvenile wasn't able to get in line in time or whatever to get some of these shoes that were being sold.
That's when police say he drew a gun and tried to take them from someone else outside the H.H. Gregg.
The person who he tried to take the shoes from had a valid carried concealed weapon permit through Ohio.
When Jabbar drew his gun, the victim drew his, firing one shot and killing the 16-year-old.
He's a real good kid. It hurt my heart to hear it happen. I'm upset. My son's upset. I'm dealing with him. I mean, he was a real good guy.
Very polite and well-mannered. He came over here before, and we got to spend a little bit of time together.
The two other teenagers who were with Jabbar ran, according to police, but the victim of the robbery attempt who fired his weapon stayed at the scene. He does not face charges of any kind.
This was a random act of I want something that person has, and I'm going to take it from them by any means. And it didn't go down the way they thought it was going to go down.
The two other teenagers he was with are currently in juvenile detention here in Montgomery County. They face possible murder charges if it's determined that they were a party to the robbery or had knowledge of it and didn't actively try to stop Jabbar. Jay Warren, 9 on your side, Miami Township, near Dayton.
And we continue to learn more about the Middletown teen who was shot and killed during an attempted robbery outside the Dayton Mall Saturday morning, including details about the two other teens that he was with. We spoke to the father of one of those teens who says that his son was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
My son got around the wrong guy.
Outside the Miami Township Police Department, Derek Moore was looking for answers as to what was happening with his 16-year-old son. He and a 17-year-old are both locked up, not yet formally charged, in connection with a deadly shooting at the Dayton Mall.
They won't let me talk to him. That's why I had to get a lawyer.
Neither of those juveniles fired the shot that killed 16-year-old Jawad Jabbar, their friend from Middletown. The three had come to the Dayton Mall for a limited sale of athletic shoes.
I'm going to Dayton to stay with my mom because I'm going to get these J's in the morning. I'm going to be the first one there. I got to have them. That's just what he told me.
But Moore is familiar with who he knew as Jabbar.
My son got up to go buy the new Jordans. His mom and me gave him some money to go get them. I don't even know where this other kid, JJ, came in the picture at.
Police say Jabbar approached the two men outside the mall, pulled a gun, and demanded they hand over their new shoes. The victim pulled his own weapon and shot Jabbar, killing him. Moore says although his son was there, he had nothing to do with the attempted robbery.
He had money. He's not a robber. He's a good kid. He ain't never been in no trouble. We trying to get to college. That's what we're working on. All I know, I just want to hold my son. I miss him and I love him, and I got his back 100%. That's all I got.
All right, so you guys just checked out both those stories, and I just find everything just really disturbing. You know, when I first posted this on Facebook, I was real upset. You know, I'm like, how much do you not value your life? How do you put a pair of material items before your life? How do you think it's okay to go and rob somebody else of their material possessions that they worked for? You know what I'm saying? And you don't know if they have a gun. You don't know if they're packing. He basically gambled with his life and he lost. And I can't say I feel too bad for him. I'm sad because this is a young man who died before his time. And we all make mistakes as teenagers. We all make mistakes as kids. But some mistakes you cannot come back from. And it's really unfortunate he felt like his life meant nothing more than having these shoes. And then you saw the father, the other boys, his friends that were with them. The father said that he gave his son money. They had money to go buy the shoes and everything else. But at the end of the day, these boys may be charged as accomplices to this robbery. And they may also be charged because their friend died during a robbery attempt. So now these other kids may be looking at doing time in prison. The person who shot the young boy, he's getting off because it was self-defense all day. You know, the whole situation is just really unfortunate. You know, a lot of folks get upset and like, sneakerheads are stupid and, how can you spend your money on some shoes? At the end of the day, I don't knock sneakerheads. I don't knock people for spending money on shoes. If you can afford it and you want to treat yourself, you have that right. Because so many times people like to look down at people. Like I always say, everyone has their vice. Your vice may not be Jordans, but then you might be the same person who will stand in line for an iPhone. Your vice may not be iPhones, but you might stand in line or be willing to spend just as much money on a hair weave. Your vice may not be phones, but you might like, buying $200 and $300 Coach bags, Michael Kors bags, stuff like that. So everyone has their vice. Everyone has that thing that they want to spend money on. Everybody knows my vice is electronics. I love gadgets. I love electronics. If it's a gadget, I gotta have it. You know what I mean? So we all have our vices. But at the end of the day, When you purchase something and you work hard for your money, no one deserves to take that from you. No one has a right to rob you because you chose to spend $200 on some Jordans, or you chose to spend some money on some things that some people may not deem worthy. It's not okay. The thing that bothers me is a lot of folks that I know for a fact who have no business standing in line to get an iPhone, standing in line to get some damn Jordans, to get a hair weave, whatever else. They don't have money. I know people who are broke. They will spend $200 on some Jordans. They will wait for the latest iPhone or the latest video game and then ask to borrow money from you because their lights are about to be cut off or because they need gas money. How do you put some material shit before your necessities? I think those are the people who bother me the most. If you can afford it and you can afford to buy it, that's on you. Like I said, we have the right to splurge on what we want to splurge on. But when you can't afford it, that's what really bothers me with the whole situation. And obviously this young boy had no business doing what he did. And now he's lost his life behind that. You know, and everybody's like, well, he was such a good kid. He was so friendly. But, and I don't doubt that he was friendly. I don't doubt that he was a good kid to his family members and to people that he knew. But his actions, those actions were that of somebody who was not a good person. Those actions were that of someone who was selfish, who put his needs before other people, and who thought it was okay to put a gun in somebody's face over something that cost $15 to make in a sweatshop in China. I'm just so disappointed with some of these stories. It's like, we got to do better. And it's not a black thing, because I'm up here right now in Minnesota and there was just as many damn white people, Asians, Latinos and everything else standing in line to get the J's. We've been so consumed with, materialism and, materialistic things that it's sad. There was a point in time where you could get some Jordans for $100. And I've noticed every year they become more and more limited and they've gone up more and more in price. 2, 3, 4 years ago, those same J's were about $150. Now they're $200. It's like they're trying to keep it with the LeBron James shoes. LeBron James shoes are $200. To me, that makes no sense that any shoes should be that much. But again, it's all about supply and demand. And if people are willing to pay for it, they're going to keep on kicking up the prices, just like with the iPhones. Those iPhones cost about maybe $100 to make, and then they turn around and sell them for upwards of $600. That's the thing. You guys can go out here and rob folks, and certain folks will just give up the shoes and, not make a big deal of it. Other folks might have a gun and might take your life out. So you need to be really careful, because a lot of these folks are itching to kill people, especially young black males. They're not playing no more. If they even feel threatened, they're pulling out a gun and they're blasting. So now, unfortunately for this 16-year-old boy, he's lost his life over some bullshit, and nobody will be held accountable because it was his fault. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire crazy situation concerning the brand new Jordan 11s, the Blue Legends. What do you think about both of these situations? Do you feel like if that woman would have had a gun, she might have been able to protect herself? And then how do you feel about the young boy who lost his life over trying to be greedy and rob somebody of their goods? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. All right, deuces.